So, on today's show, we had a talk about the crawfish boil that was going on at Camp Holly. Captain Kurt McKinney's owned this place for 20 years now. And Jeff was at the original kickoff party where they were blowing up fireworks and everything else in the fire.
They were blowing off mortars.
Mortars. And so Jeff stood me up for today's show. He didn't want to come into the studio, but anyway, I caught up with him later in the day so that you guys and gals can enjoy today's show. Nah, I'm just kidding. He asked me 4 times, and I told him, don't worry about it. I got this. But hopefully you guys and gals enjoy today's show. And Jeff and I are going to enjoy these crawfish right now. Catch a memory, guys.
You're listening to WWBC, Cocoa, Melbourne, Titusville, 1510 AM, as well as W234BI, Cocoa, Rockledge, and W264AS, Rockledge, Melbourne, Palm Bay, and 100.7 FM.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's another edition of Catch a Memory Outdoors right here on WWBC 1510 AM, 99.9, 94.7, and 100.7 FM. And good morning to those of you out there on Facebook. I'm Captain Jim Ross, and we appreciate you guys and gals tuning in live every Saturday morning to hear what's going on the radio show. I'm flying solo this morning, so I'm going to give you guys we got quite a few callers that are calling in, but I'm going to give you guys some additional information on one of the baits that I've been using, also one of the products that I've been using here lately that I think that a lot of guys are really going to like. Hopefully you'll enjoy that as we bring that up a little bit later in the show. But for right now, we just want to let you know that you can get in touch with us, 321-632-1000. That's our call-in line right here at the studio. And we're going to be talking a whole lot of stuff here. This week we finally have I think we finally broken that March winds curse. We've finally gotten out of the 3 months of March when it comes to the wind, and we finally got some 1 to 2 foot seas this week. And man, I'm telling you right now, this weekend is absolutely gorgeous. If you guys and gals are on your way to the boat ramp, or if you're already on the water, obviously you know that you can see that the flags aren't standing on end, and the trees aren't swaying in the breeze, and it's just a great time to get offshore. Finally here into the second week of June, we finally got some nice weather. But I tell you what, the fish responded this week as we're leading into this new moon. A lot of guys are like, what's with this whole moon thing? I don't get it. We just go fish. Well, there's something more to it than just wetting a line, guys and gals. The moon has a lot to do with the fish's behavior. And last week you heard us talking about how much slower it was. Both, myself, my co-host that I had last week, some of the callers that called in as well, Captain Mike Mann and others, saying, yeah, the bite kind of slowed down a little bit. Well, it's not necessarily that it slows down. It just shifts time frame from when we're typically on the water. The way that the moon is situated in relationship to the Earth creates a more positive or less positive time of activity. It's called the solunar tables. For those of you that know about it, if you know, you know. Let's just leave it at that. But if you don't know and you're wondering why are the fish not biting, it's just we've got all the conditions. The bait's here, the weather's here, and the fish just aren't really cooperating. It's because they've already eaten and they're waiting for the next time for them to eat again based on their clock, not on our clock. And a lot of times, we want the fish to work on our clock, or our time frame, and that doesn't always happen. They go by the moon. They don't have a wristwatch. They don't know that breakfast is supposed to be at 6 or 7, and that lunch is supposed to be at noon, and then dinner is supposed to be at 5 or 6 in the evening. They don't know that. What they know is that the moon is giving a different gravitational pull, And because of that, it's either not time to eat or it's time to eat. And that doesn't really matter what the sun is doing at that particular time. It can, to some degree, a little bit, but for the most part, the moon has a bigger influence on how and when fish bite versus what our daylight and dark hours, what we go by a lot of times, what they are telling us. So last week it was slow. This week, completely different story. We're coming into the new moon. We've got some really strong outgoing tides, some negative lows, negative low tides this week. And talking about tides, the tide isn't always the same as well. If you look at a tide chart, like if you pick up, there's a really good tide chart in Florida Sportsman magazine. Every month they put the tide charts in there. And if you pick up a Florida Sportsman magazine, you can see that there are times when the tide is higher and lower than it would normally be. And those times are typically better times or days to fish on because more water movement a lot of times creates more bait movement. That bait movement obviously then creates a better opportunity for predators. So the cycle goes on. It's that whole circle of life thing that you kind of heard about in The Lion King. It's just the way that the world works. So we've got negative lows this week. That means our lower tides or our outgoing tides are going to be a lot stronger than our incoming tides are, or a lot lower than normal, moving more water. And so if you're fishing around an area that has an inlet, or even if you're fishing around an area that may be a fringe area, let's take it as an example, from Oak Hill in the Mosquito Lagoon down to Hallover Canal. There's a prime example of not a whole lot of water movement going on most days. But on a day when you get an extremely high tide, you will see more water movement in that section of the river versus other times of the month because the moon's gravitational pull is different. It's stronger, and it's now pulling more water, which then you stop seeing, or you don't stop seeing. You would normally see from Oak Hill north, you would see a tide, but from Oak Hill south in the Mosquito Lagoon, now you start seeing much more water movement, and the fish react accordingly. Another example would be down in the Grant area through Melbourne area of the Indian River. Once again, you're a little ways away from the inlet. Typically, there's a little bit of a shift in which way the current flows, but on days like this next 2 or 3, and actually the last 2 or 3, when we've coming into this new moon, that lower than average tide is pulling more water out the inlet, creating a stronger flow out the inlet, which then pulls more water from upstream, if you will, up the river or up the Indian River Lagoon. It pulls more water and creates more tide, and it creates a better bite scenario because, once again, the bait's kind of getting shuffled around, and the predators have an easier time in the current than the bait does, so you see a better bite occurring. Anyway, to wrap all that up, we've had a really good bite this week. Tripletail, one of the best examples, with all of the floating weeds and floating debris that has come in on all of this east wind that we had for the past couple of weeks. We are seeing tripletail everywhere. I mean, yesterday we fished for tripletail for about an hour. We got 10, 3 of those being legal, the other 7 being too short. The smallest legal fish was right around 19 and a half inches, and we got 2 fish that were over 10 pounds. Now, my customers didn't want to keep that much fish. They only wanted to keep 1 fish, so we kept 1 tripletail. We put everything else back in the water so that you guys and gals have a chance to go catch them today or tomorrow or whenever. But a lot of tripletail this week, and so, live shrimp is the way to go. Free-lining those fish, free-lining the shrimp to those fish that are around all those floating patches. And you'll find that either first thing in the morning, you're going to catch them really good, or right in the middle of the day. Sometimes in the mid-morning, they're going to be a little fussy. And the only thing that I can equate that to is in the morning time, they've got a little bit of that sunlight, that reduced sunlight. So they can predate a little better because they're not as easily seen. And then again, in the middle of the day, with the way the moon is right now, you're having a mid-morning to midday bite. And in addition to that, the sun's at its highest at that point, and highest point in the sky, and you get better shadows underneath those weed patches. So because those weed patches are creating a lot of shade, the triple tail can get real tight to the weeds and just ease along under them. They'll lay on their side like a flounder and just ease along, and then when they come up to something that they want to try and eat, whether it be a shrimp, a crab, a minnow, then they can ambush it a little bit easier because they're sort of hiding in the dark, if you will. Where in the mid-morning, the light is penetrating underneath of those floating mats better, and so they're not as good at capturing things or catching things because they're a little more visible because there's more light under the weed patch. So anyway, those are just some of the things when you're triple tail fishing that you want to think about. But free line and a live shrimp in and around those patches, you would definitely, if there's triple tail around, you will definitely catch them. And obviously, if you have a tower to fish from, or if you have somebody in the tower that can spot for you while you're standing on the bow getting ready to cast, that is a great scenario because now you've got a higher vantage point, or someone in your boat has a higher vantage point, and they can direct you as to, hey, I see one, we're going to ease over to it, and then kind of get you a heading to look at, maybe even point your rod at, and say, there's the fish is right at that particular o'clock from the bow, and he's 20 feet, he's 40 feet, he's 60 feet. And so with somebody above you telling you where to cast to, you pick up on that fish much easier from deck level than you would if you just had two guys standing side by side on the deck. In some cases, you may go right by that fish and never see that fish. So in many cases, it can become a tag team or a team effort as opposed to just a solo effort, much like poling from a platform where you've got a guide who's a little higher than you are, picking a fish out for you and then directing you on your cast so that you can cast to that snook or that redfish or that trout that happens to be in that shallow water. So, but anyway, really, really good activity this week, the last couple of days. Flat calm and obviously really good bite happening. The other thing, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this a little bit later in the show, if you're out trying to bottom fish, first of all, you can't get through the red snapper, and that's just been tough unless you're fishing very deep with very large baits. But anything from about 60 feet to about 120 feet, just plan on using your descending device because you're going to be releasing red snapper. Here's the other thing, though. The sharks right now are everywhere. In fact, we had this week, first time I've ever had this happen at Canaveral, we had a shark taken from us as we were releasing it. I was releasing the fish at the Canaveral Inlet, and I barely got my hand out of the fish's mouth. It was revived. It was ready to go. I released the fish. I'm still leaned over the gunnel at this point, and the shark comes out from under the boat and nails the 35-inch snook. So I was not happy about that, as you can imagine. None of you would be either. So there are a lot of sharks. Secondly, we did a little bit of bottom fishing and trolling this week. There are a lot of glass minnows that showed up in the 60 to 80 foot depths. A lot of glass minnows, a lot of baby bonita with those glass minnows. No, I didn't see any Spanish mackerel this week, but a lot of baby bonito. And those baby bonito are bringing in king mackerel and sharks after them. And anything that you're catching in that 60 plus foot zone has the ability to get sharked. We got sharked quite a bit this week, slow trolling for king mackerel, and also doing a couple of bottom drops, looking for some flounder and some mangrove snapper, different things like that. We got sharked quite a bit. There's a lot of sandbars and quite a few bulls, but mainly sandbar sharks out there right now. And you guys and gals you're just going to have to deal with it, unfortunately. If you're going to bottom fish or if you're going to slow troll for kingfish, unfortunately, as you know, you can't put a lot of pressure on those fish. And, with those little treble hooks when you're slow trolling anyway. And the sharks are around. In fact, if you stop on a spot, a piece of reef, a piece of 8A Pelican Flats, Bethel Shoal, the East 11, the party grounds, wherever you happen to be out of Sebastian, Canaveral, or Ponce Inlet, you stop on these. If you immediately see a shark in the water, just don't even fish there. Just go somewhere else. Just move a quarter mile, half mile, a mile, whatever it happens to be, move down the reef, because if you do hook something there, that shark is already aware that you're there, you're fishing, and he's going to sit there and wait for you to hook something, and then he's going to come eat it. So just a very, very kind of a difficult situation with the amount of predators that we have in the water right now, apex predators that we have in the water right now. So unfortunately, that's kind of where we're at, with the whole shark scenario right now. We've got to do a better job. There's a lot of fisheries out there, and we've talked about the red snapper fishery being one of contention, obviously. There's a lot of fisheries out there that are still imbalanced, and we just need to do a better job with those fisheries. Obviously, we all want to see the red snapper season open. We'd all love to be able to bring a red snapper home, because we can't go out, drop a bait to the bottom, and not catch one. So they're there. It's just a matter of we're going to have to do something to change the Magnuson-Stevens Act with an amendment that is equitable for all parties involved, recreational and commercial, so that we can get a real, true red snapper season that is open long enough that it makes it worthwhile and not dangerous. Like these 1 and 2 day seasons are just dangerous. It's got to be longer than that, but not so long that we could potentially put a dent in the population to the point where we can't fish for them next year, or maybe the year after that even. So we have to kind of come up with something that's going to fit all user groups equally, and I look forward to that. But going back to the shark thing, sharks are the same way. We're going to have to do something with sharks. Sharks need to be addressed in some way, shape, or form. And I'd like to hear you guys and gals' thoughts on that. So if you want to post up on the Facebook feed, we'd love to see a comment there. If not, give us a call, 321-632-1000. I'm Captain Jim Ross. We're flying solo this morning in the studio here in Cocoa with Catch a Memory Outdoors, and we're going to be right back after these messages, so don't go away. Assassin, the most trusted name in bass fishing lures, is now the top soft plastic lure brand for saltwater. Sea trout, tarpon, redfish, and snook hammer the saltwater Assassin 4-inch sea shad. With its amazing swimming action, this lure sets the bar for swim bait designs. Other companies continue to try, but none have been able to replicate the action of this incredible minnow-style lure. But Assassin has other proven designs. I like the native shiner-colored 5-inch Shad Assassin. That's my go-to lure when I'm targeting big gator trout. Redfish love the Drunk Monkey or the Mudbug-colored 4-inch Assassin Shrimp Cocktail. And you can rig these on a weedless worm hook or the amazing Assassin Springlock Jig Head. Now, these are just a few of my favorite Assassin lures. Check out what top professional anglers have known for years. Assassin lures simply catch more fish, and you can get them at your local tackle store or go to bassassassin.com and get some of these fantastic lures for yourself today. Starbright Premium Marine Polish helps keep your boat looking great. This easy-to-apply premium polish uses polymers instead of wax, so it lasts up to 3 times longer than traditional boat wax. The polymers in Starbright Premium Marine Polish are also easier to apply, block UV rays better, and help keep fish blood, slime, and poop and other stuff from sticking to your gel coat. Starbright Premium Marine Polish isn't a wax, it's a sealer. It's safe for all fiberglass, paints, and polished metals. You won't believe how awesome Starbright Premium Marine Polish will make your car or truck look too. Wax is for surfboards, not boats. Protect your boat with Starbright Premium Marine Polish. Hey guys and gals, welcome back. We appreciate y'all tuning in every Saturday right here to Catch a Memory Outdoors. This segment of the show is brought to you by Strike Zone down in Melbourne. And if you haven't stopped in at Strike Zone lately, you owe it to yourself to stop in, check out all the latest gear that you guys and gals need. They have got one of the best shops in the area, and they've got some very, very knowledgeable staff there. So if you need a little help picking something out, or for those of you ladies that are out there maybe listening in the background this morning because your husband's listening on the radio or online, you know what? You need to get yourself to Strike Zone and get your man something for Father's Day, or your dad something for Father's Day, I should say, because you know he likes to fish. And if you don't know what to get, it's super easy. Just get a gift card. You know, the Strike Zone gift card always is a hit with anybody that likes to fish, especially for Father's Day weekend. Hey, coming up next week. So we're going to go to the phone lines now and see what's going on. Captain Mike Mann's on the line. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you today?
Good, buddy. Good. How about you?
Well, I got birds. I got bait flickering. I'm still looking for those silver things. We got loaded up on pogies and some mullet this morning, and we were kind of working down the beach. There's a lot of bait out here right now. I mean, a lot. I talked to Rodney Sayre a little while ago. He said there was a lot of hornbellies on the beach, which is always fun to get in your cast net first thing.
Oh, yeah, that's always fun. Although, Mike, don't overlook them as a potential bait source for tarpon.
Oh, no, I do not. But when I got pogies, I'm pretty happy with that pogies and mullet. I agree. I got to find the thing to feed them to now.
Yeah, I agree. But I have had days where, it's like, man, I can't find a pogie, I can't find a mullet, I can't find a pilchard or a greenie. The only bait around happens to be hornbellies, or bumper, as some people know them. And so I'm like, man, I hate to do this, but we're going to get a couple of them and put them on the hook. And you'd be surprised that tarpon will eat them. They don't seem to care.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I do not recommend trying to do that with a leatherback, because those things they're evil. I don't know how they stick but somehow they will get you. But hornbellies will get you too. You just got to be careful with them.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're kind of we're looking. Rodney said he saw a tarpon roll here. We have yet to see one, but the sun's just starting to hit the water kind of nicely.
Yeah,
so I'm expecting for them to start getting active. The bait's all up on top. We just waiting for the tarpon to get active on them. I'm working my way south, kind of coming towards your area. We'll be in the park in about another 2 miles. We'll be down inside the park, which is usually where it starts happening this early season.
Mike, do you find, and I find along Cocoa Beach in particular, that a lot of times the tarpon, if they're off of Cocoa Beach, they're deeper. They're out in 20 to 35 feet of water. They don't really like getting in close to the beach with all of those surfers and people sunbathers and people swimming around in the water. They don't particularly care for that. The sharks don't care. Sharks will be swimming around your feet.
Yeah,
they don't care. But the tarpon don't really like that. They have to have a tendency to push off farther. But when you're south down by Patrick Air Force Base and a little bit farther south, there's a lot less beach traffic there until you get to Melbourne. And it seems like the tarpon move in much, much closer and get just outside the surf break, typically inside of 15 or 20 feet of water. And then when you go up around the tip of the Cape and you're heading north towards the False Cape and then up towards Playa Linda, they seem to do the same thing up there. They get much closer to the beach up there. Do you find that the same way at New Smyrna? When you get south of where the sunbathers are, you start running into more tarpon closer to the beach?
Oh, most definitely. Like, if I'm fishing in the north side of the inlet, they're typically in 50 to 20 foot of water, so they're out a little bit further off the beach. The further south I go, it seems like the closer they move in. But a lot of it, too, I find depends on where the bait gets, And right now, I'm seeing tons of bait, but it's not freaked up. It's like, so far I've been in bait for 2 miles. And that makes it a little more challenging when they kind of get schooled up and they get all pushed in to like a big ball of them. That's where the tarpon really get active.
Yeah, they start skyrocketing through them. We had that. Had that on one occasion earlier this week where they were, had the pogies all balled up and they were beating on them. It kind of looked like a fall mullet run scenario.
Yeah, which that's when it gets exciting because you can just stay with that school, sit on the outside edge of it, pitch up to it, hook up, fight the fish, come back to the pogie school, and rinse and repeat.
Yes, exactly.
And right now, I've basically from Flagler Avenue, I'm I don't know. I'm down below the Islander, and it's been bait the whole way. And I'm not,
Is it
the
the
birds
right
are
kind of bait,
scattered.
though? I mean, is it pogies or is it something else?
I haven't thrown the net. They're looking a little bit smaller, so that's what I'm kind of looking for is a school of pogies.
Yeah.
I haven't thrown the net because I caught pogies in the river this morning before I picked up my guys. So, it's kind of one of those things where I see them and it looks like a little bit smaller bait. I'm looking for those big groups of pogies up on top, kind of doing that little slurp thing they do.
Yep.
But you don't know till you stop and look at every bait, at every group you come to.
Well, yesterday I didn't find any quote-unquote schools of tarpon. Actually, the last 2 days. What I found was coming north out of Canaveral, it was singles and doubles or a string of, say, 5 to 8 fish in a string. And when I mean a string, I mean they're nose to tail. And so, so as you're going by them, for those listeners that aren't really familiar with how tarpon work, if they're in a school, they're just kind of all over the place. It's kind of like watching a school of dolphin work. There's one over here, there's one out there, there's one kind of close, there's one back over here to the right or whatever, and they're just in a loosely associated grouping, if you will, where when they're in a string like they are now, they're nose to tail swimming right behind one another. Very reminiscent of something that you would see down in the Keys if you were fishing on the outside edges of the grass flats there, the way that they come in a string or in a line down that outside edge. That's exactly the way that I've seen all of the fish this week when they weren't actively feeding on some kind of a pogie pod or bait pod.
Yeah, and that's, we're still looking. I haven't been out here much because it's been too rough. And I was out offshore a few days ago, and of course, the forecast was wrong, but it looks like I'm starting to get some bigger bait fish now as I'm working my way down. Starting to see it looked like a little small Spanish jump, and it's starting to be a little bit bigger looking bait. But, it's a late tarpon season. It's a late start to it.
It sure is, buddy.
I've had
we're
I've
at least
had a
2 weeks behind
run.
Schedule.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I've had a decent run in a few places in the lagoon, but, you can't fish those on weekends because it's just nuts. And even out here on the ocean, I've already had 2 boats blow me out as I'm looking. I'm like, really, guys? Come on, man. It's a whole ocean you can run in.
Yeah, 2 of the other captains yesterday. I was talking with one of the other captains who's frequently on the show yesterday, and I'm not going to name any names, but it was another captain who's in a very, very, very well-marked boat out there, a wrapped boat, and I'm fishing 250, 300 yards from this other captain, and this other well-marked boat comes running up and shuts down right in front of him and then turns around and starts, looking for fish circling on his main motor. And I hear a shout because I'm on the downwind side. I hear a shout it was not something I can repeat on air. And later on, that particular captain called me to see how I was doing, and at that point we were 0 for 2.
Discussing the
we were 0 for 2 at that particular time, and I said what was going on this morning? And he goes, I just had to explain, in no uncertain terms, what he just did was absolutely unacceptable when you're tarpon fishing, when you're doing any kind of fishing, really. But I mean, for a guy to come in when you've got baits out and you're in fish, and a guy comes and runs in and shuts down within about 70 yards of you, and then doesn't turn his main motor off and continues to circle in front of you in the direction that you're trying to troll to, that's just not good etiquette. That's for sure. Yeah, it's a big ocean, but it becomes small real fast when people start doing that sort of thing.
Part of the etiquette I do, if I see a big school of pogies, there's a boat on it, I go to the other side of the school.
Yep.
And, and usually if it's somebody I know, I'll call them and say, hey, is it going to bother you if I switch to the other side since you're on the south side of the pogies or the north side of, can I get on the upper side? And and sometimes they're like, yeah, most of the time it's like, yeah, come on in.
Yep.
But, I'm not going to do that where I'm that close. And I'm going to come in on my trolling motor. I'm not coming in on my outboard.
Yes, that's the other thing is tarpon are very noise sensitive, and so outboards are not the way to go whenever you're trying to catch them. That's for sure.
That is correct, but I'm pretty optimistic about today, and especially to look at the weather for the next week to 10 days. It looks like we're finally getting into that summer pattern when we got a little southwest winds in the morning. It's about to go off.
Well, I can tell you, yesterday, 1 for 3 yesterday. Our biggest tarpon was right around 115, 120. The smallest fish that we had strike actually ate the bait and then ran straight at the boat, shaking its head. And we just obviously couldn't get tight to get the circle to work. Yeah. That's
Don't they know they're supposed to eat and turn?
That was the manual I read said that was the way tarpon were supposed to eat, and he apparently didn't read the same manual that I did, because he must have read the one where you get the bait but you don't get hooked. That was the manual he read.
Yeah, it's sometimes they don't read the manual, and when they eat coming at you, it's hard to get that hook in them.
Yeah,
it really is. The whole idea with circle hooks is they've got to eat and turn. And when they turn, that's when it catches them.
Yep.
But, they are tarpon, and they like to throw surprises at us.
Isn't that the truth?
But I'm hoping, the pogies and the mullet work out here. In the river, the only thing I've been able to get them to eat is croakers. And, a little 5/0 circle hook, nose hooking the croaker, and wait. And you got to sit there and wait till they roll. And then pitch up ahead of them towards the bubbles and just free line, hand line it, let it swim down till you feel the thump.
But that when you're tarpon fishing, there's different techniques, and that's one of the techniques that's really effective, especially when they're a little fussy.
Yeah, because you're kind of feeding that line out. You're letting that bait get down there, and everything loves croakers, especially tarpon and snook.
Yep.
But they're not my favorite bait to get because they're expensive and they're not as easy to catch in the river. I can come out here on the beach and I can drop down some shrimp pieces and catch them out here, and they're the big nice croakers. But I feel when there's this much bait fish along the beach, they're like a mullet.
Something that's
when
up
they're
on
feeding
top.
them pogie, something that stands out. Yeah, something that gets up on top and stands out. And that's always my favorite.
All of our bites yesterday, Mike, it was push the bait to the top and then strike it once it can't go any farther, because it's run out of water.
Yep.
Yeah, we had actually 4 strikes yesterday within about 2 hours, and one just totally whiffed. He looked more like he was trying to tail slap the bait than he was actually trying to eat the bait. And then the other 3 actually ate the bait, but the first 2 got off, and that last one we finally got to the boat, got some hands on it.
Well, I'm hoping we can experience some of that in a minute. I'm still looking. All I've seen is bait, and I haven't seen the single roll or anything skyrocketing. So we're getting ready to run a little further south, get into the park. I got a full tank of gas, light winds, and a tank full of bait. So we're good to go.
And a whole lot of ambition to go get it done.
Yeah. Well, Brad and John have fished me back in the wintertime, and we discussed yesterday whether we want to go offshore and go bottom fishing and they're like, no, we've caught a bunch of bottom fish. Let's go tarpon fish. And I'm like, perfect. That's what I wanted to hear.
Well, good luck with it, buddy. Hey, if somebody else wants to get out there and fish with you, how do they do that?
Yeah, I've got a few days open this month and a few days open next month. You can give me a call at area code 386-295-5991. You can go right to my website, fatfishguideservice.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, CAPT, Mike Mann with 2 N's. Guys, get out there, catch a memory. Have a great and safe weekend.
All right, buddy. Well, they're coming up the beach, so get ready because you should start seeing them anytime now.
I'm working towards your area now. Once I hang up, we're going to go.
There you go, brother. Appreciate the call, and you have a great day and be safe out there.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All righty. Bye now. Hey, gang, we're going to take our 7:30 break. When we come back, we got a whole lot more Catch a Memory, so don't go away. We're going to be right back after these messages. How did Anheuser-Busch do it? How did they take water, barley, malt, hops, rice, and yeast and create the best-selling, cleanest-tasting, low-calorie beer in America? Well, with only 95 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs, Ultra is the clear champion of beers for people on the go. Taste the American Revolution for yourself and give Mick Ultra a try. Superiority is worth paying for, and Carroll Distributing, your local Ultra Superior light beer distributor, wants to remind you to enjoy life, have fun, and always drink your crisp
Grill Seafood Deck and Tiki Bar is one of the Space Coast's most popular local hangouts. We love to kick back and relax at either of their waterfront locations with a cool tropical frozen drink and some of the freshest island-style seafood around. Grills is known for its fantastic food quality, like their bacon-wrapped scallops, shrimp Cuban sandwich, or one-of-a-kind Bahamian fish chowder. The Tiki Deck features some of the area's best local bands throughout the week, plus Grills has a fantastic breakfast menu, too. Chill out at Grills' original location in the Cove at Port Canaveral, right next to Sunrise Marina, or check out Grills' Riverside location on Highway US 1, just north of the Pineda Causeway. Go to www.grillsseafood.com for more information, and remember, it all happens at Grills. Nobody likes to pay for insurance, but you have to have it. So do what I did. Go to Petrucci Insurance. They're your local independent insurance agent, and they're here to make sure you get the right policy to fit your insurance needs at the best price available. I gave Petrucci Insurance a call. They reviewed my current policy and saved me $700 on my home insurance alone. Plus, Petrucci found me better coverage than the policy I had with my other company that I'd been with for years. Don't waste money another day. Call Petrucci Insurance at 321-632-1200. That's 321-632-1200. And stop wasting money on your home, car, boat, and life insurance today. Trailer problems can be a real day breaker. When you need to go to the area's best trailer supply and repair shop, try Ferguson's. Family owned and operated since 1954 and located on Highway 192 in West Melbourne, Ferguson's has a huge supply of trailer tires, wheels, axles, lights, jacks, and other trailer parts in stock. If you're not a do-it-yourselfer, stop by and pick up the parts you need. If not, let their expert staff do the repairs for you. Ferguson's also installs electric brake controllers, trailer hitches, and goosenecks. They have a full line of automotive and marine interstate batteries. So if you need a trailer maintenance, repair part, or a new Continental boat trailer, go to the best trailer shop on the Space Coast, Ferguson's. Check them out at fergusonstrailersupply.com or call their shop at 321-723-5425.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back. We appreciate you tuning in every Saturday right here. I was looking at the Facebook feed here, but Butch McCoy was saying it looks like a real flat ocean off of Cocoa Beach right now. Boats are out there getting bait, and it looks like it's going to be an absolutely good morning for anybody that wants to get out there and go chase some fish. Also, got a what was it? Another one here. Durwood Roberts, what are you doing sitting in the garage building rods this morning, buddy? You should be out tarpon fishing. Come on, man. Let's see. Blair Wiggins is mad about the Sharks, and I can understand that because I am too. Captain Russ Glenn is out there this morning. Good morning to you as well. My good buddy Tim Emka. Just a whole bunch of guys. Doug Oliver says, good morning. Everybody have a blessed day out there. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate what's going on the Facebook feed. For those of you that may be following along or not following along on the Facebook feed, you can always kind of check that out right there whenever you get a chance. And, you know, it's kind of cool. Want to let you know this segment of the show is brought to you by Direct Graphics. I'm wearing one of the shirts that Direct Graphics built up for me, one of my camo radio show shirts. And if you guys need shirts or, you know, business cards or a boat wrap or a billboard, they can design, build, do anything you want. Give them a call, 321-631-1001. That's Direct Graphics in Cocoa. But I was just sitting here thinking to myself, you know, there's a lot of guys that are just kind of wait for the weekend to get over with. But, man, you know, the weather this year has been so windy that it's almost like, okay, even though I typically go during the week, you may want to get out on the weekends just simply because the weather has not been great. And like me, any day that the weather's nice, I want to be out in the boat. That's just kind of how it is. And the tarpon, the kingfish in particular, those two species have started to show up in pretty good numbers. Snook bite's still strong, and in the lagoon system, we've got baby tarpon cruising the shorelines. Some of the redfish action over in the Cocoa Beach area down through Satellite Beach area has been really good here lately, and the last couple of weeks, just a lot of stuff to go do. So it's a good time of the year to get out there and do it, and it's warm, but it's not gotten hot yet, so that's also a benefit. Anyway, just wanted to say hey to some of those guys out there on the Facebook feed. Appreciate like Butch with the heads up, Flat Calm Ocean out there. There's a couple other guys. David Giovannini is heading down to the Keys. Looks like he's going to have a good time. I'm generally in Isla Mirada pretty much for the whole month of May. And this year things fell through where I could not make that happen. I'm sad about it. However, my good friend Jeff Kranick, I've been very fortunate to become very good friends with him. And he was telling me, me and my wife, hey, come on down and hang out with us he's got a place that he has availability to get to stay at. And it's got a couple of extra bedrooms. So he's like, come on down, bring the boat, stay with us. So I will be getting down there, but it will be July instead of May. So one of the things that's kind of interesting about that is when you go, I've been going to Isla Mirada for over 30 years. So typically what the pattern is at that time of the year in that part of the world. I don't fish there all year, so I couldn't tell you what's going on in July. I couldn't tell you what's going on in October or January. But in May, I've got spots, and they produce. And if that spot doesn't, I've been there so many years that this spot will, or this spot's not producing, this spot will. Or if this species isn't producing, this species is. It's just like when I fish here at home, there's never a day where I don't have not only game plan A, B, and C in my head, but if A, B, and C just don't happen to work for some reason, I've got D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and N on most days that we can go to. And if I run through N and we still have time left, I've got, O and P and Q. The thing I'm getting at is when you do something as long as I've done this, charter fishing or fishing in the river in general, and those of you that have lived here and fished here your whole life, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you're exactly the same type of angler. You've got backups for your backups, and you've even got backups for those backups because you just have experience on the water. And so going down there in July, it's going to be a whole new world for me, and I'm going to have to try to figure out what is the pattern at that time. So I was thinking about this on my drive home yesterday from fishing for my charter, and I was thinking to myself, the average person or the new person that's just moved here from somewhere else, moved to the Space Coast, and is trying to figure it out. Yes, you can do a lot of things to create shortcuts. You can hire a guide. You can go join a fishing club. There's a lot of things that really can cut down on your quote unquote learning curve, if you will, from where you came from to where you're fishing now. But there is absolutely no substitute whatsoever for time on the water. And not just time on the water, but time on the water observing what everything in nature is doing. As an example, yesterday morning, I pull out of the port, throw the bait net, I don't know, had to dump half the net back out because I had too many pogies. I couldn't even lift the thing in the boat. Put the other half of the net in the bait well, then sat there and netted half of those baits out of the well because the well was so overpacked. I must have had 200 pogies in the net and put at least 100 in the well. I threw 50 of them back out immediately, so I've got about 50 baits left. And I start running up the beach, and I'm not seeing any birds. Now, if there's one thing that I can tell you that's going to make you a better fisherman or make you aware of the fact that you need to be doing something at that particular time that's potentially going to keep a bait in the water. If you see the birds working, actively working, it's feeding time. Yesterday morning, they were not doing that. Okay. So knowing that, it's like, okay, the fish aren't going to be actively, the tarpon in particular, aren't going to be actively feeding and busting along the shoreline because the birds are all sitting on the beach right now. They're just chilling out. I don't know, they're having mimosas on the sand. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not up and flying. So you have to then isolate or find isolated fish to fish for. Fish that are fish on structure, not necessarily roaming fish. So as an example, if you're looking at it for the Indian River or the Banana River or the Mosquito Lagoon, if you're poling down a flat and you're actively looking for tailing redfish, you're actively looking for fish busting, finger mullet or trout striking at glass minnows or any of those types of things, and you're not seeing that, that immediately tells you, okay, the fish aren't active. What we need to do now is we need to go find a source of structure. Okay, go find that downed tree. Go find that overhanging mangrove. Go find that dock. Go find that rocky edge along the channel, maybe, in the ICW channel. Or go find some kind of a hard feature that the fish are going to associate to. Once you find that, now you found fish that may not be actively out roaming and feeding, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not receptive to you pitching a bait into their little zone, if you will. And the same thing happens offshore. So yesterday when I did not see birds, I'm like, okay, we need to immediately go to sources of structure, aka floating weeds, debris, channel buoy markers, different things like that. We need to find fish that are holding next to structure that we can then fish for and keep the bait in the zone, the small zone that they're going to be in. And that's one of the things that is in the back of my mind all the time. So that's the one thing that I would tell anybody here is if you're looking for fish, look at the birds and let the bird activity tell you what's going on with the fish's mood as well in most cases. So blind trolling when the birds aren't working typically doesn't work, but you go to a piece of structure and all of a sudden you start to get bites, a piece of reef, a piece of whatever, a wreck. So keep that in mind, whether it's a mangrove limb, whether it's a downed, tree, whether it's a rock pile, whether it's an offshore reef. When the birds aren't flying, get closer to structure. When the birds are flying, then you can work more open water. That's going to catch you a whole lot more fish right off the get-go. Guys and gals, we're going to take our next break, and then we got a caller on the line. So don't go away. We're going to be right back with more Catch 'em Memory Outdoors and myself, Jim Ross, after these messages. So don't go away. For over 40 years, Bud Light has been the theme at backyard barbecues, pool parties, sunny days at the beach, and of course, celebrating your personal best catch with your buddies. Because there aren't any artificial flavors or preservatives in Bud Light, so the clean, crisp taste shines through and goes with just about everything you do. So enjoy one of America's greatest tasting beers with your Ace Hardware in Titusville has a huge selection of rods and reels from Penn, Daiwa, Shimano, and all the best lures from Rapala, Gulp, No Live Bait Needed, Mirrolure, and Saltwater Assassin. They're your one-stop tackle shop on Highway US 1 up in Titusville. Ace also has Yeti coolers and accessories and all sorts of boating supplies, plus an entire wall of sunglasses to choose from. Ace Hardware in Titusville is the place where you'll find all the best fishing apparel brands as well. They're just minutes from all three Titusville boat ramps. Plus, Ace has a drive-through ice vending machine in their parking lot, so you can get in and out while trailering your boat. Check out one of the largest selections of fishing and boating gear in the northern Space Coast area at Ace Hardware Store on Highway US 1 in Titusville.
Every week on this show, you hear light tackle fishing expert Captain Jim Ross teach you the latest tips and tricks to help y'all catch more fish. Now it's your chance to get that one-on-one attention to seriously improve your fishing skills. Call Captain Jim for an instructional fishing charter. Jim will help you become that angler you've always wanted to be. Learn how to read the water, spot cruising fish, tie knots, and cast like a pro. Give him a call at 321-636-3728 or check out his website, finelinefishingcharters.com, to book your instructional fishing trip with Captain Jim Ross today.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back. We appreciate you tuning in every Saturday right here to Catch a Memory Outdoors. This segment of the show is brought to you by Engel Coolers. And if you guys and gals want to do something really cool for Dad on Father's Day, here's what you got to do. Right now, Engel Coolers has their Father's Day sale going on. It's 20% off 3 specific items on their website. One is one of my personal favorites, and I know it will be one of you guys and gals' personal favorites too. In fact, you may want to buy one for Dad and one for yourself while this sale is going on. It's the Engel Cooler 25 backpack. This thing is heavy duty, but man, I'm telling you right now, it is such a pleasure. If you go to soccer games, if you go to sporting events, let's say you're a NASCAR fan and you like doing things like going to the races or things like that. You like going to the beach. You like riding around in the woods on your four-wheeler, but you don't have any real rack space to put a cooler. Guess what? Engel has a backpack cooler that's super insulated, extra heavy duty, and is really comfortable to wear. You can throw whatever you want in there, and like I said, it's a 25-quart cooler, so you can carry just about enough for a month's supply if you needed, but you definitely have a day's supply worth. The other is their heavy-duty non-backpack. It's just their soft-sided cooler that's got some handles on it. You've seen a lot of these out there, but they have a 20-quart and a 30-quart in their heavy-duty soft-sided. That's also on sale right now. You want to go to engelcoolers.com. That's engelcoolers.com. Check them out. At the checkout, you can put in that coupon code for the 20% off. And I'll tell you what, this is a fantastic sale. They don't do this very often, so I would highly recommend you take advantage of it. And if you go online today or tomorrow, you can probably have it here. In fact, it will be here in time for Father's Day, for your Father's Day present. But like I said, you may want to double up and get one for yourself too, because these things are absolutely one of the best products that you're ever going to use. So engelcoolers.com, we appreciate them being this segment of the show's sponsor. Hey, we're going to the phone lines. We got Kurt McKinney on the line. Good morning, Kurt. How are you doing today, buddy?
Good morning, Captain Jim. How you guys doing?
We're doing good this morning. I'm flying solo in the studio this morning. My good buddy Kyle Weaver is up doing the Big Rock tournament. He got hired to run a boat up there, so he was going to be in the show. But whenever he said I got hired to run a Big Rock boat, so I'm not going to be back from North Carolina in time. I said, no problem, we got this. But they had a pretty good tournament up there. Somebody, I think it was day 1 or day 2, put a 900-pound marlin on the dock. So that's impressive. That's a giant fish for this side of the Atlantic Ocean.
Where are they fishing at?
North Carolina. Yep, Morehead City, Beaufort, North Carolina. Yep, fishing up off of Cape Lookout.
Well, buddy, we got a little wing ding going on out there at Camp Ollie today. I'm trying to get a shout out to everybody.
I'm telling you, Kurt, I am so excited about this. Whenever you put out the post, for those of guys and gals that don't know, Kurt McKinney, Captain Kurt McKinney, as a matter of fact, owns Camp Holly down on 192, just west of Melbourne. And Kurt has taken and transformed that location into something that everybody needs to go see. Kurt, it took you a while to kind of get it done, but man, once you got the inside of your establishment done there, what a great place you put together.
Yeah, we bought it actually February the 14th. I bought it for my wife. This February the 14th, we're going into the 20th year of operations out there. And when we bought it, it was old, ran down and dilapidated. We was very fortunate to be able to pick the facility up. And I can tell you right now, it's been a transformation. It's taken almost 20 years. We went into our construction program on 2016. We just finished it up in the last year or two by adding in a facility, covered dock areas for our tour boats. We're pushed up to now a new amount. We can run in 5 tour boats, like 9 captains, 70 employees in and around the facility for, the restaurant, bar, and grill. Observation decks. We've got the gift shop. We've got a ton of fun. We just call it a ton of fun. We got live alligators at the facility all day long. Come on in, bring the kids in, stop by, get you a picture with an alligator. If your friends or family are in town from North Carolina, Virginia, wherever it may be, get them out there. Let them hold an alligator. Let them take a. You don't have to go for an airboat ride. I don't care if you come out there and do nothing but walk around, but you need to go inside the restaurant, because inside the restaurant there's so much memorabilia, and it's all original. It all comes right here from Melbourne, Florida. It's stuff that we grew up with in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and every bit of that stuff came out of my garage. So you can see how I collected that over the years, and it just happened to go together with the camp.
Well,
today we got the crawfish boil going on. It's going to start at about 12, and it's going to go to the cows go home. We got a Nashville artist, Mr. Tom Jackson, and his band down here today. If you've never heard Tom Jackson play, you are about to experience something today. This guy is phenomenal. He's off the scale.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to lose him. He's going back to Nashville. He's going to make 2 or 3 new demos that's coming up. He's got some memorabilia out there today for sale. Come on out there. You can get a face-to-face with him, talk to him, get his autograph, spend a little time with Tom, walk around, see everybody. We've got shirts. We've got hats. We've got raffles. We've got giveaway. We're giving away a $100 basket every hour for the rest of the day. So it's going to be just a lot of fun. This, like I said, is our 3rd annual. We've outgrown Camp Holly, guys. I hate to say it. So we and my kid.
Well, when you see
ahead.
the cars lined up on the side of the road, you know you're there. That's for sure. It is a great
tells you?
place. Everybody loves it.
No, it tells you that you have more fun at Camp Holly. You'll have Camp Holly's a place that you have the most fun with your clothes on. You know what I'm saying? So
I hear you, brother. I
you
hear
guys
you.
try to get out there. Everything's moderately priced. We're having just an enjoyable day. We got 30, 40 boats coming up from Fellsmere. Indian River Airboat Association kicks in. The Cocoa Boys come down. We got just a really good day put together today. We got all on board. We got a bunch of Cajuns in from Louisiana Crawfish Company. They help and support us every year with this thing.
Yes.
And the good news is it's going to go on great today, Jim. It's going to be excellent. We're looking forward to everybody. I hope the weather holds for us. But this is the last year we're doing it at Camp Holly. So next year we're going to be at Wickham Park. We're going to have a 2-day event because we've just outgrown it, and the requirements for crawfish in Brevard County is amazing, for an event. So we're going to just try to expand on it next year and move out to Wickham Park and have some fun out there. But all for all, if you guys get a chance to get out and be with us today, we'd love to see you there. It starts at 12, and like I said, till the cows go home. But Captain Jim, all of you guys, we greatly appreciate you giving us a chance for a shout-out. And like Jim said, if you haven't seen Camp Holly, you're missing it. You
got to see it. And the memorabilia you were talking about, Kurt, is some stuff that, I remember my grandfather and my dad using some of this kind of stuff. And even myself using a little bit of it because I'm getting on up there myself, But you have done a fantastic job.
It's all hunting, fishing, trapping. It's old school. It's just fun to sit around there and look at. I look at it sometimes and I say to myself, "Man, I saved up all this stuff."
Hey, Kurt, real quick, for guys and gals that are coming down there. Obviously, you're on the upper portion of the St. Johns River headwaters area, and so there's fishing to be done. There's, like you said, airboating to be done. There's all kinds of cool stuff to be done. But, this isn't just a one-day event. You guys are open 7 days a week, aren't you?
We stay open 7 days a week. We shut down for, like Christmas and Thanksgiving. We have family days like everyone else does.
Yeah.
But, we're right there on the St. Johns River. We're 3 minutes right underneath I-95 on State Road 192. That would be New Haven Avenue. You just go 3 minutes west, and you're there. Just as soon as you go around the curve, you go across the St. Johns River. The facility's there. We got kayakers out there. We got John boaters out there. We got people come up in their flats boats. Remember, you can always access Camp Holly. If you've got any type of a boat, you can put in at Lake Washington. We're exactly 3 miles south of Lake Washington. So there's a large boat ramp there Brevard County's built, and we have hundreds of people come up with pontoon boats, flats boats. Lots of captains are there all the time.
Yep.
Good fishing on the St. Johns River. It's hot now, guys, as we all know. You got to get in and get out. But, they're catching fish. I watched the guy the other day underneath the bridge catch about a 5 or 6 pound bass. I was surprised.
Nice. Right there underneath the bridge, right next to the camp. So my wife is, I'm not able to join them because I'm doing this, but my wife is jumping on with Captain Blair Wiggins and his wife Carrie, and they're riding the airboat down from Lake Washington today to meet us there at noon for the crawfish boil. So we are excited about that and looking forward to it.
Well, Jim, as always, you guys always are so supportive of all of us young guys, business owners and stuff in Brevard County, and we want to give a good shout out for you because you've been doing this for a long time. And I didn't know the time that you had invested in this radio show, and I can tell you what you do. A lot of people listen to it and talk about it, and we're excited and we're actually proud that you've hung in there over all these years and been committed to what you've been doing for the community.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm trying to do my best for everybody out there. Well, Kurt, I will see you in about 4 hours.
Well, guys, y'all come on out there, have some fun today, have fun any day, and always remember, we're looking forward to letting everybody have a new adventure.
Absolutely. Big time at Camp Holly today. We appreciate you calling in this morning, Kurt.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Melbourne. Y'all have a great day.
Take care. Yeah, if you guys haven't been to Camp Holly, it's an adventure. It's just a really cool place with a lot of really cool memorabilia. But today, like you said, crawfish boil's going on, so we're all going to be there. So we'll see you guys and gals there. Hey, you know what? We are done with the first hour of the show. We're going to be back with a whole nother hour of Catch a Memory Outdoors. Don't go away. Grab another cup of coffee. Get those eggs scrambled up. Get that bacon frying, and we're going to be right back with another hour coming right back at you after these messages. So don't go away.
You're listening to WWBC, Cocoa, Melbourne, Titusville, 1510 AM, as well as W234BI, Cocoa, Rockledge, and W264AS, Rockledge, Melbourne, Palm Bay, and 100.7 FM.
If you're a shooting enthusiast like I am, you have to check out the incredible lineup from Kel-Tec. Developed and made right here in Central Florida, Kel-Tec is a leading industry manufacturer of shotguns, rifles, pistols, and guess what? They're all chambered in common calibers that we all love to shoot. Whether you're a weekend plinker or you want some advanced personal carry or home protection options, Kel-Tec makes exactly what you need. Find a dealer near you or check out the entire line of Kel-Tec weapons, accessories, and apparel by going to keltecweapons.com.
Your boat's upholstery looked great when it was new, but over time it gets dingy and stained. Starbright has the perfect combination for your problem. Starbright Ultimate Vinyl Cleaner and Ultimate Vinyl Guard. Starbright's Ultimate Vinyl Cleaner won't dry or fade your vinyl. It has powerful cleaning agents that blast away fish blood, grease, road grime, and more without harmful chemicals that ruin your boat's vinyl. Starbright's Ultimate Vinyl Guard is like a sunblock for your boat's vinyl cushions. It restores moisture and shine to sun-bleached vinyl without being slippery. Plus, it blocks harmful UV rays and helps keep your vinyl cleaner longer. Starbright Ultimate Vinyl Guard is great for plastic, rubber, and leather, too. It's ideal protectant for trucks and cars as well. Use Ultimate Vinyl Guard on your car or truck dashboard, seats, and door panels. Heck, you can even use it on the sidewalls of your truck or trailer tires. Starbright Ultimate Vinyl Guard makes all your stuff look great.
Batten down the hatches. We've got another great hour with Captain Jim Ross and this week's special guest starting right now.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back. It's another hour of Catch a Memory Outdoors right here on WWBC 1510 AM, 99.9, 94.7, 100.7 FM if you're in Brevard County, 99.9 in the north part of the county, 94.7 in the central part, and then 100.7 in the south part of Brevard County here on Florida Space Coast. Obviously, catchamemory.outdoors.com. Click on that Listen Live tab. If you missed the show live, you can always go back and click on that Archive tab and listen to any of our shows. We've got 8 or 10 years worth of shows on board there, so you guys and gals can go back and listen to any of the ones that you'd like to. And, of course, Facebook Live and the WWBC app. If you haven't downloaded the WWBC app, you can always get us on that as well. And that particular way to listen to the show doesn't give you the video, it just gives you the live audio. But you can be sitting in your tree stand and be listening to it in your earbuds if you like to. Or you can be sitting on the boat listening to it out while you're catching some fish. So just a lot of good ways to get involved with Catch a Memory Outdoors, and we appreciate you guys and gals tuning in. Right now we've got a whole bunch of cool stuff that we're going to be doing this hour, but I wanted to talk just a little bit about the one of the products that I really like to use, and this is one that whether you're catching trout, especially slot size and upper slot size or even over slot size trout, snook, redfish, or tarpon, those four in particular. A Saltwater Assassin, one of the show's sponsors for many, many years, has a product called their Saltwater Shad. It's a straight-tailed jerkbait, and one of the colors that is really, really good when you've got clean water conditions or just slightly dirty, no, I shouldn't say dirty, slightly colored, that greenish tint colored water, like we have a lot of right now in the Indian River Lagoon. If you're anywhere from South Titusville down through Port St. John, down through Cocoa, and then into the north, like Sun Tree, O'Galley area, that section of river right now has this greenish sort of a tint. Not a nasty green, but just sort of a deep, darker green color. There's two colors that I would recommend. One in this saltwater shad, because it's a 5-inch jerkbait, you can rig it on a weedless worm hook with no weight. You can rig it on a weighted weedless worm hook, or you can rig it on a jig head. There's three different ways I like to rig this particular bait. But this particular bait catches a lot of fish for me. You just need to make sure that you've got the appropriate size hook for the appropriate size fish. As an example, you don't want to be throwing a 1/8 ounce jig head with this thing after tarpon. You want to get something that's got a much heavier jig head on it, much beefier jig head. Something in the the 4/0 or 5/0 size is much better. But the 5-inch shad, it's a straight-tailed bait in the pilchard color or in the native shiner color. So the pilchard color is a smoky kind of a green back, a little bit of gold to it, just a little, with a silver flake belly. I really like this when I'm fishing over grass flats. This particular bait is just really, really good in that scenario. Now, if you're around a creek mouth, a pipe outflow, anything like that where you have just a little more stain in the water, a little ditch that flows into the lagoon system, then I tend to put a little more gold into it. So the native shiner color has that smoky green back with a clear gold flake belly on it. And either of those two baits right now are working extremely well. And here's the nice thing about it. In many parts of the lagoon system, we have grass again. And where we have grass, obviously, we have issues throwing topwater plugs. Now, when we lost all our grass back in the mid-teens and up to about 2020, we all were fussing that we didn't have any grass. Now we've started to get some seagrass back in the lagoon system based on, the tax. The lagoon tax is actually working. We're seeing better water quality. We're getting our lagoon system back to a much, much healthier state. Seagrass is growing again. Well, with that, you get floating grass on the water. Well, as much as I want to fuss, I'm never going to fuss about throwing a topwater plug and getting it hung up in the grass. It's not happening, okay? Because I remember too many years when that never could happen because there wasn't a blade of grass for it to get caught on. So here's my alternative. This saltwater shad, the SW shad, in the 5-inch size in a weedless weighted worm hook. And I've been using the X Point. TTI Daiichi has a company called X Point. And these X Point hooks are one of the best hook that I've ever used on this particular bait. It's a heavy enough wire hook that I can land any redfish, any snook, and almost any tarpon with it that I hook in the lagoon system. and obviously any trout. It's a little bbit thicker wire. It gives you just a little bit more weight, and it acts like a keel that makes this bait ride upright. I run the 4/0 or the 5/0 size in it, depending on the fall rate that I want. But if you guys and gals are really looking for a great bait to throw in saltwater, actually this will work really good in freshwater too. The native shiner color is one of the best freshwater colors you can throw in our Central Florida lakes. But in the saltwater realm, that X-Point 4/0 or 5/0 size weedless offset worm hook, that's the heavy duty version. They've got a light wire and a heavy wire. This is the heavy wire version in the pilchard color or in the native shiner color. And if you can't find these at your local store, bassassassin.com, obviously you can get them there, or you can get the X-Point hooks online as well. But those two in particular, this time of the year, those are fantastic baits or fantastic lures to be throwing in the Mosquito Lagoon, Indian River, and Banana River system. And if you want to spice them up a little bit, you can rub a little Procure. You can spray some Bang shrimp scent or Menhaden scent on them to give them a little bit of an extra scent. The ladyfish, the blue crab, any of the gels that Procure puts out, any of those scents seem to be working fine right now. And this lure, you can skip it under mangroves. You can work it through that grass that's floating on top that we just mentioned a second ago. You can work it right through that stuff, and it just glides through it. It looks like the way that you would see a frog coming through lily pads if you were bass fishing, and you're throwing a soft plastic frog. Same kind of concept. It glides right over the weeds, right over the floating grass. It skips up under the docks. If you happen to throw it in the mangroves, because you have it hooked weedless, if you don't jerk it, if you just slowly jiggle the bait with your rod tip and work it up through the limbs, you can generally, like 95% of the time, you can get this bait to come out of the limb and then fall right at the base of the mangrove tree, right where you wanted it to be in the first place. You just got a little over exuberant and threw it a little hard or a little high, and it falls right in the strike zone, and you can start working it. And the nice thing about the unweighted version of the bait is that it suspends in the water column for a much longer period of time. So it stays in the strike zone. You don't have to start immediately working it in some cases. You can let it fall like it's doing this little dying flutter, and as it's falling down, a lot of times it gets picked up, or it gets halfway down in the water column just where it's out of your visible sight, and then you can just give it one or two little twitches. And normally, if it falls, let's say it falls a foot down underneath that mangrove tree and it's 2 or 3 feet of water there, and you give it one little twitch, that's all it takes. If that snook or that redfish or that tarpon is sitting under that tree, they rush out there and grab this thing. So I would highly recommend going to Saltwater Assassin's website, bassassassin.com or Saltwater Assassin, and checking out their 5-inch SW shad. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you guys this specific number. It's actually SWA. That's S as in Sam, W as in William, A as in Apple, 29155. That's 29155. And during the next break, I'll actually post that number on the Facebook feed. So if those of you guys and gals that have Facebook can see this number. But this bait right here, I throw it. It looks like a needlefish in saltwater. It looks like a mullet in the flats. It's just a fantastic overall bait. Even though it's called pilchard, it's just a fantastic bait. I catch cobia on it. I catch snook on it. I catch tarpon on it. I catch reds and trout on it. Jacks eat the things up. So there's virtually nothing you can't catch on that particular bait. And it's just one of those baits that you can take this thing out and you can just let it catch fish for you. You don't have to be that great a fisherman because this bait is helping a lot. It's kind of like my Glock 17 that I, shoot at 25 or 30 yards, and it makes me a lot better shooter than what I truly am because the gun's a better gun than I am a shooter, to be honest with you. This bait is a better bait than most anglers are, and this bait is going to help you catch more fish. Well, guys and gals, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we got a whole lot more Catch a Memory, but I'm going to post up this number for you guys on Facebook and during this break, and that way you can check them out and maybe even get some for Father's Day. Send some to your father, and that way you can have an excuse to use some of them when you take him fishing. We're going to be right back, so don't go away. Catch a Memory is coming up after this.
Greasy smears, fish blood, dirty footprints, and spilled food all create a mess on your boat's deck. Here's a fast and easy solution to clean them. Starbright Ultimate Extreme Clean. Just spray it on the spot, hit it with a deck brush, and rinse it off. Dirty vinyl cushions, greasy drips around your outboard, even those suspicious stains your fishing buddy always seems to leave behind, don't stand a chance when you squirt a little Ultimate Extreme Clean on them. Starbright Ultimate Extreme Clean works great to clean your grill and around the house. You can use it on your truck or lawnmower. It gets greasy stains out of clothing too. Just spray it on any greasy spot, give it a light rub, and they'll look like new again. Make sure you pick up some Starbright Ultimate Extreme Clean and lose those greasy stains today.
If you listen to this show, you know Captain Jim Ross is one of the top light tackle charter fishing captains here in Florida. Jim's been fishing these waters on the Space Coast his whole life and has been a full-time captain for almost 30 years. In that time, Jim's clients have landed thousands of personal best catches, including giant tarpon, redfish, and snook, plus a few massive black drum. So if you're looking for an incredible adventure, book your next charter excursion with Captain Jim Ross. It's simple. Go to finelinefishingcharters.com, click the reservations tab to see Jim's available dates, book the type of trip you want, and get ready to go catch your next memory.
The most trusted name in bass fishing is also the top soft plastic lure brand for saltwater species. Sea trout, tarpon, redfish, and snook can't resist a saltwater Assassin 4-inch sea shad. Its amazing swimming action sets the bar for swim bait designs. Others continue to try, but no one has been able to replicate the action of this incredible minnow-style lure. But Assassin has other proven designs. The native shiner-colored 5-inch shad Assassin is my go-to lure when I'm targeting big trout. Redfish love the drunk monkey or the mudbug-colored 4-inch Assassin shrimp. And snook and tarpon love their new little P&V dart bait in watermelon red flake or Houdini colors. You can rig these lures on a weedless worm hook or on the amazing Assassin Spring Lock jig head. So these are just a few of my favorite Assassin lures that help me and my customers stay happy. Check out what top professional anglers have known for years. Assassin lures simply catch more fish. Stop in your local tackle store or go to bassassassin.com to check out this incredible lure for yourself.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back. This segment of the show is brought to you by Petrucci Insurance. We appreciate Petrucci Insurance Agency sponsoring this segment of the show. If you guys and gals are tired of paying too much for insurance like me, call Petrucci. Let them save you money. They saved me over $800 on my house insurance. Now, I don't know about you, but $800 goes a long way when it comes to putting fuel in my boat, buying bait to go in the boat, and everything else that goes along with my boat or anything else that you guys and gals like to do. So if you want to save $800 or potentially more, who knows, give Petrucci Insurance Agency a call and stop paying too much for your insurance. They shop around, find you the best deal, and in many cases, like in my case, they found me better insurance than what I actually had prior to that, and I started paying less for it once I went to Petrucci Insurance Agency. So give them a call, 321-632-1200. That's 632-1200, and we appreciate Petrucci Insurance Agency sponsoring today's segment of the show. Hey, we're going to the phone lines. We got Ron Stallings calling in from TTI Blakemore. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
We're stroking right along, man. Got a lot of good things happening and just enjoying somewhat some nice weather for once.
You know, it has been a windy spring here, and we just kept going. When is March going to quit? It just hung on through April and through May, and even through the first part of June, we had a cold front, a week and a half ago that just kind of blew everything out again. But
yeah, it's off and on rain is what's been killing us, man. I mean, you can either pick a day to mow your grass or pick a day to sit there and watch it grow because it's raining so much.
Well, the guys and gals down here would love some of that because we're in a drought scenario right now. But we're starting to get some afternoon rains, fortunately. Fortunately. Hey, buddy, I was actually just talking in the last segment about the X-Point of heavy-duty weedless worm hooks. And, that's one of the products that actually TTI carries. TTI Blakemore is also Daiichi, is also X-Point. So for those of you guys and gals out there that may not understand. They're all kind of under the umbrella of the TTI brand. But that's not really what we were talking about today. We were just talking about that, rigging our saltwater assassins with that particular hook, because that is such a fantastic hook that you guys are producing over there. Excuse me. But Ron, so we had a question. And guys, it's been like 3 months ago now. We were talking about Blakemore Real Magic on the radio show, and why I use it, and why my gear, even after a year or 2 years and 350, 400 trips on the water, my gear still looks basically brand new. And why does my gear last so long? Because generally, a guy that's got a saltwater reel is like, man, I got to put this thing in the shop every 6 months because it just keeps, getting corroded and different things happen to it. And I got to get it serviced all the time. Well, when I get home, I take my hose and I have a little spray nozzle on it. I put it on a very light mist. I spray the hose on the rods, on the reels, just lightly mist it. Because if you think about it, fishing in salt water, the salt collects on the guides, it collects on the reel, and what you want the water to do, you don't want to blast the product or the item with the water, because you drive salt into places. You don't want to do that. You want to lightly mist it and then shake it and get the salt off of it. Just you want the water to collect the salt basically and then get it off.
Right.
But then I let it dry, and then I spray down with Blakemore Real Magic. And guys are like, I've never heard of this stuff before. Where do you get it? Well, obviously a lot of your local places. Strike Zone in Melbourne is one of the places that has it around here. Bass Pro Shops has it. And, of course, you can get anything online these days. But I use the Blakemore Real Magic product because it simply works. It doesn't create a buildup on my gear, on my reels, and it makes my line just work just magically better than it does without it. But I had the question, Ron, what's in this stuff? What makes this bottle of, Real Magic truly magical? And I couldn't answer that. So I appreciate you coming on today and kind of answering some of those questions for us.
Well, sure. Real Magic basically is just a synthetic compound. It has, most people call it silicone, but it's not really a silicone. It's a synthetic proprietary blend of a few chemicals, and like you were saying, trying to prevent corrosion. It's also a UV protector. I mean, you can extend your line life by using Real Magic because UV will make lines brittle. Now,
Absolutely.
You can use it on fly line. You can use it on Dacron, monofilament, fluorocarbon. I mean, I use it on the fly rod when I'm fly fishing, and I get a heck of a lot further cast than most people around me. Basically, it prevents corrosion. Okay, it stops that. It's an anti-static. For people that fish in the north, and sometimes you get cold down there, it reduces icing. It's ozone safe, non-sticky, non-staining, odorless when dry. So you can spray it out there on the water, and it's scentless in seconds. So you don't have to worry about it, scaring off the fish with some goofy smell like some of the other imitators. But beyond that, like you said, and I'm glad you said it this way, because some people will blast their equipment and force that salt in there. Now, when we had our store in Orlando, we were a Shimano warranty center, and people would bring us their reels, and they may be only 6-7 months old, and on the inside, they're corroded because they blasted it or dunking their reels in fresh water in a 5-gallon bucket when they get home. That's not something you want to do. Do it exactly like you said. Just a light mist, collect the salt, get it off of there, let it dry, spray the entire piece of equipment, rod and reel and line with Real Magic, and then put it up, and it's ready for the next trip, and you don't have to worry about any of that corrosion. Now, like I said, it's just a proprietary blend. It's all synthetic, and it does a fantastic job of helping you cast further and reduce line memory.
Well, what's interesting, Ron, is it doesn't leave it leaves a protective film, but it's not a wet film. It's not like if you spray, you had mentioned silicone. It's similar to silicone, but it's not silicone. You spray silicone on something, it stays greasy and tacky and it collects dust and it just, and the worst thing, and I hear people doing this all the time, but the worst thing you can do is spray a product like WD-40 on a spinning reel.
Oh, yeah.
WD-40 strips the greases and oils out of the reel. Yes, it temporarily lubricates whatever's corroded. So in a pinch, you could squirt it, but it's not a long-term resolution. I need to get this product repaired or replaced because WD-40 actually strips the greases and oils out of something, where with the Real Magic, it just coats and enhances it. And like you say, as far as like a fly line in particular, if you're fishing a fly line in salt water, you guys and gals know you condition your line, you put your line dressing on there, but you've made 100 casts now and it's mid-morning and now you can't get 70 or 80 feet anymore. You're hitting 50, 60 feet and you're like, okay, why am I not casting as good as I was earlier? Well, part of it may be arm fatigue, but the other part of that is your line has now lost its slickness. It's lost its lubricant, and it's gathering salt on it. Salt is abrasive, and as it goes through the guides, it's slowing the line down. It's like applying a brake on your car very lightly while you're still trying to drive. It's not as efficient because you have friction there slowing you down. So what I'll do is I'll actually take the Real Magic, and I just, even with the line all on the reel, I don't leave it off the reel. I just wind it all up. I take the Real Magic and I spray it all over the reel, all over the fly line, kind of shake it off and let it dry for a second or two, and then, maybe get a drink, have a sandwich, whatever, and have a snack. And then when you pick it back up and you shoot it again, you're back out there at 70 and 80 feet on your fly line, on your cast again. And you're like, man, it truly, the name kind of says it all. Real Magic. And you can spell it either way. You can say REEL if you want to do it that way, or it's REAL. However you spell it, the stuff is fantastic stuff. And so I appreciate you calling in and letting us know that it's not harmful. And the UV resistance for monofilament, for guys that are still monofilament guys, I am on my Kingfish reels and on many of my Tarpon, conventional Tarpon reels. I'm a mono guy still. Man, game changer, absolute game changer.
Yep, and I'll tell you something. There is a very, very prominent professional that's been using Real Magic since probably the early 80s. And what this guy does, and this is going to be funny to you guys, but it's the truth. And believe it or not, down there in Florida, of course, I was born and raised in Orlando, so I know all about this. This guy, he takes the big bottle of Real Magic, and he sprays the entire front of his vehicle with it.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why he does that is when he's going down to Florida in love bug season, the love bugs just slide off.
I didn't think about that. That's a great tip.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either. And when I talked to this fella, he was telling me he's using this stuff since the early 80s and so on. He says, but I spray it on the front of my truck when I go to Florida during love bug season. I said, are you crazy? He says, no, you should see how the love bugs just slide off. Man, it's unbelievable. So all I do is spray it with the water at the car wash. They're all gone. I don't have to worry about it.
That's awesome.
I was like, wow, that's really freaking cool, man. That's a great idea.
So now it's going to be hood magic too.
Yeah, but you mentioned X Point, and I'll make this really quick. I know you got to go, but we have got a 2-year development hook out now called Pro X, and it's a Daiichi product. It has grooves in the point that reduces friction on the hook set. Every point is 3 degrees up from the line of plane, so you get instant connection. And it has a nanotechnology on it that speeds the penetration. And it was designed by Randy Howe and us. And it took us 2 years to do it. And when you're using X Point, I highly, highly recommend you trying Pro X2 because you're going to find out with the minimal flex and the speed and penetration and the instant connection with a 3-degree up point, you're going to find out that Pro X hooks are outperforming all the other ones out there right now. I got a guy there in Florida. He's taking a 4-all EWG style hook, pitching for snook. His last 2 fish that he caught the other day was a 90-pound tarpon and an 80-pound tarpon on a 4-all.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great hook, man. I mean, I've completely changed everything out in my tackle box for Pro X. Even X point.
All right, you're twisting my arm. Now I'm going to have to go order some.
Yep, all you got to do is call me. I'll make it happen.
All righty, brother. Well, man, we appreciate that. And everybody out there, just make sure you go get you some Blakemore Real Magic. You're going to be impressed with it. Ron, thank you so much for coming on and explaining the benefits of it this morning, and we appreciate you. And, hey, you know what? Hopefully that rain stops and you get to go out there and do some fishing, because I know cutting the grass is not on the top of the priority list for you.
No, never.
All right, buddy. You have a good one.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Have a good one out there.
All righty. Bye-bye now. Hey, gang, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we've got a whole lot more Catch a Memory, so don't go away. We're going to be right back after this message.
Hey guys, Captain Blair Wiggins here. I'm sure you're aware of the ongoing projects out there that are aimed at restoring seagrass and water quality in the Indian River Lagoon system. Well, here's one that I'm proud to have played a role in getting started, the Indian River Lagoon Clam Restoration Project. I collaborated with Whitney Labs, CCA, the FWC, and many other partners to implement this clam restoration project right here on Florida's East Coast. I would love for every one of you to get involved with this program. Your $20 donation will put 200 clams back into our lagoons. As they grow, these 200 clams will filter over 1 million gallons of lagoon water per year, greatly impacting the health of our local waters. Your contributions are tax deductible, so please help our lagoon by donating $20, $50, $100 or more to this cause. You can make your donation online at IndianRiverClamProject.org/support. Again, that's IndianRiverClamProject.org/support. And on behalf of myself and our waters in the lagoon, we thank you.
Milestones are what define greatness. And this year, America is celebrating a huge milestone with its 250th birthday. Budweiser Beer is celebrating a milestone as well. The undisputed king of beers is celebrating 150 years of creating smiles, laughter, and unforgettable memories wherever beer lovers gather across this great nation. Beechwood Aging produces a unique American-style lager for everybody to enjoy. Now, Carroll Distributing is your local Budweiser distributor, and they invite you to celebrate America's 250th birthday with Budweiser's 150th birthday by having an ice-cold Budweiser, because you deserve what every individual should enjoy regularly. Sunrise Marina Bait and Tackle Shop. They've been serving Brevard County anglers for over 25 years. Sunrise has all of the gear that you hardcore anglers need for a productive day on the water, and they've got frozen baits like ballyhoo, sardines, squid, and more. Plus, Sunrise Marina has a great selection of live baits, shrimp, pinfish, croakers, mud minnows, fiddler crabs, and a whole lot more. So if you're looking for tackle, rods and reels, boating accessories, fresh-made sandwiches, or your favorite beverages, Sunrise Marina has got everything for you, and you can ice it all down with some bagged or bulk ice at their convenient, trailer boat friendly drive-through. Sunrise Marina also stocks some really cool nautical gifts, as well as the performance clothing and casual clothing that anglers like you and me like to wear. Make sure you stop by Sunrise Marina before heading out before your next fishing adventure. They're easy to find right across the street from Grills Restaurant at 505 Glen Cheek Drive in Port Canaveral. Hey guys and gals, this section of the show is sponsored by Mudhole Custom Tackle in Oviedo. If you guys are over in that East Orlando area, obviously Mudhole Custom Tackle has got a brand new showroom with a whole bunch of cool stuff in it. But also, if you like to build your own rod, nobody does it easier with their custom rod builders kits than Mudhole Custom Tackle. So stop over there, check them out, and you guys can be basically building a rod today if you want to. And here's one of the things that you kind of need to think about. Obviously, Father's Day is coming up. If your dad needs a project, he probably doesn't, but if he needs a project, building his own custom fishing rod is one of those things that he could do. So you could obviously stop by there and get one of those for him and tell him you heard about it right here on Catch a Memory Outdoors. Hey, we're going to go back to the phone lines. We've got Bill Pasternak from Ace Hardware in Titusville. Both Ace Hardware in Titusville stores. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. It's kind of an interesting show this morning. I'm in here by myself, which normally I've got a guest on the show, but we are staying pretty darn busy with phone calls and tips and techniques and all kinds of other fun stuff. But I am so glad that you called in. Next weekend is Father's Day weekend. And what could be better for your dad if he likes cooking than to stop by Ace Hardware and get one of the great products that you guys have got in stock. We talk about it all the time. You've got RecTech, which is one of the hottest upcoming brands. You've got the old standby, or the old guard, if you will, the standard in which many are judged by, the Big Green Egg. And then you've got a bunch of other, you've got the Webers, you've got the Traegers. If somebody's looking for a grill, you guys have got them covered.
We do. We've got, I know our Garden Street store is kind of the North Brevard headquarters for grilling. We've got over 60 grills on display there in a nice, clean environment. You can look them over and get some expert advice. But we've got, anything from, like you said, the charcoal grills. We've got gas grills. We've got smokers. We've got the new griddles that have been very popular in the past few years. And we have pizza ovens.
You got it all covered, huh?
Got it all covered. Whatever your dad or you like to cook, we've got the grill for you.
Well, I'm one of those guys. I love to cook on the grill. That's just kind of one of the things I like to do. I can't really do any smoking. Not that I love smoked food, but my wife does not do well with smoked food. So smokers are not my thing. It's just not going to happen for me. If I want smoked food, I got to go normally on sometime when my wife is either out of town or visiting friends. Then I go get some smoked ribs or some brisket or something like that, because that way I don't put her in a position where she wants to try it and then because she loves it, but it doesn't love her. It makes her sick.
But I can tell you this: the two most popular grills right now are smokers and the griddle. The past 3 years or so, the grills have really taken off. I don't have one right now, but I'm thinking of getting a griddle. It does so many things.
Well, I have got one. My lovely wife bought me one for a Christmas present, and that thing is pretty darn cool. I just need to have more time to use it. It seems to be my problem. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and being to the boat ramp by 6, you don't get to use the griddle as often as you'd like to, if you know what I mean. But on my weekends, I definitely use that thing.
I know every father would really appreciate a new grill, and I know a lot of wives would too, because when you grill outside, you don't mess the kitchen up.
That's for sure. Well, Bill, you were talking about, we were talking about the RecTech brand. And now, what is so unique about the RecTech brand, and why is it becoming such a popular item for guys that like to grill outside?
Okay, well, that's a great question. They're built really well. They have a lot of stainless steel parts that other ones don't have, that hold the grill together. And they do a great job, but they also look really, really cool, I have to admit. I mean, when you go, man, I want that grill. Kind of like a boat, right?
I want that boat. Yeah, I need that grill. I've got a Weber Spirit 2, and I absolutely love that. I have had that thing for 8 or 9 years now. The neat part about when you buy a quality griddle or a quality grill or a quality smoker, the companies that stand behind them obviously typically have replacement parts for them for a long time, because it's not a okay, this is this year's model, and now we're going to have one next year, and the following year we're going to have a different model. This is a model that is going to stand the test of time. It's a 3, 5, 7 year product line before they update it, because they build them and do them right, engineer them and build them right the first time. So in my case, I cooked on mine so much that they have these things called flavorizer bars or something like that. I've actually had to come to your store and buy replacements because I wore mine completely out. And that's one of the other things that's kind of neat about buying a better quality grill and having a place like Ace where you stock the extra parts and you can get them if you need them.
Jim, I don't know why anybody would go anywhere else to buy a grill except the Ace. We assemble it for them. We deliver it to their house for them for free.
For free. I had a guy in Melbourne the other day. I was talking with him, and he goes, I heard your ad on the radio show. He goes, will Ace in Titusville deliver to my house in Melbourne? I said, well, there's only one way to find out. You go buy it.
Absolutely. Hey, Jim, I wanted to introduce Phil Russo to you and your audience. And Phil has a lot of experience in fishing, and he wanted to say a few things about our fishing department up here.
Well, you have got one of the best fishing departments in your US 1 store in North Brevard County, and if people haven't been there, they definitely need to get there. Now, if you've got Phil Rizzo on board as well, man, now you've got some horsepower going.
We go back a long ways to when this used to be a destination, and the grass was growing, and it was a popular place to fish here in Brevard County. And things have changed in the last year. We've got grass growing again. I live on the river on the west side. I haven't seen bait and fish and activity like this in a long, long time. And it seems like some of the things that have been done here to affect this ecosystem have made some improvements pretty quickly.
Yeah, the Save Our Indian River Lagoon half-cent sales tax is really those projects that have been completed are really starting to show results. And we're, like you say, Phil, you're seeing it daily now, and that half-cent sales tax is such an important part of this river cleanup.
Well, coming over here to, I sold my shop back in December, and I thought I was going to enjoy playing golf every day, and I got tired of that, and Bill invited me to come down here and work on his fishing department. And for folks that don't realize, we've got over 200 different soft plastics and hard baits here. We've got 80 different heads. We've got a full selection of tackle and terminal tackle, over 100 different hooks. We've got fillet knives, and we've even got people, for those cerebral folks out there that like to fly fish, we've got over 120 different flies. We're carrying mirror lures and Yozuris and DOAs and Savage Gear, Bass Assassins, the NLBNs, which have become popular, and the Prawn Stars. So we're inviting people to come over here and see what we have, and it's not just our tackle department. As you know, he's got a huge selection of rods and reels from entry level to high-end offshore. So
absolutely. One of the things for years and years and years you used to hear about was the Ace Sunshine down in Naples, Fort Myers area. And that was known statewide for being a destination location to go get all the best gear. Ace in Titusville has become the East Coast Ace Hardware tackle shop to go to. It is fantastic when you step in that store and you see what is available there. And it's not just a bunch of rubbish. It's some good top shelf quality stuff.
Well, Jim, not only that, you have to remember, we have a giant marine department, too. If you can come in here and get some tackle, you can get something to fix your boat, electrical switches, wiring, all kinds of things, trailer parts. We have trailer parts, tires. We even sell trailers out front.
Yes.
So
yep.
We're kind of unique, and we have everything you need to get out there on the water.
And
sunglasses.
And you know what else is cool? You can pull through there at 5 in the morning and get yourself a couple of sacks of ice out of the ice vending machine before you ever hit the boat ramp.
Absolutely.
That's always a good thing, too.
With spool reels here as well, Jimmy, we've got a wide selection of different braids and monofilaments. And also we've got tackle bags, we've got folks that like to listen to music on the water. We've got all kinds of speaker products, but we also sell fishing licenses, and it's become difficult in the last few months for those non-residents to get just a simple 3 to 7 day fishing license, as you are very much aware. So we're one of the locations without having to go to DMV, where you can come in here and get your license in about 5 minutes, and maybe even do some shopping while you're here.
You know, that's great. I didn't realize that, Phil. I appreciate you letting the listeners know about that, because I've had so many people ask me, you know, they come down and they're here for a week. They're staying at a condo, they're staying at Disney, they're doing whatever, but they want to do some fishing when they're not on a charter with me. And I tell them, I'm like, the only thing that I know for you to do is to go to the DMV. So it's great that you're a partner with FWC and you are a licensed service center that you can actually get those people licensed. So I'm going to start sending them to you now.
Thanks, Jimmy. And
okay. Hey, listen. Jim, listen, it's been great talking to you about our grill selection, our fishing department, our marine department, and sunglasses. We have all the major brands of sunglasses. Matter of fact, we have more Costa Del Mar sunglasses than anybody on the east coast of Florida. We have over 600 of them in stock.
Wow.
And so we've got a great selection of everything you need. Hook clothing, hook boots, just the list goes on.
Well,
and
it
on.
sounds like a great place for somebody to come shopping for Father's Day, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, buddy, you are on US 1 in South Titusville. Not hard to find, the Big Ace store that's there. And, of course, you've got the grills over at the northwestern location off of Garden Street. Appreciate you sponsoring the show, and thank you so much for giving a call in this morning. And, Phil, thank you for coming back into the game and helping out guys like myself and novices alike and getting the products that they need to get out on the water.
Good chatting with Jimmy, and if you guys are in the neighborhood on Father's Day, I'll be out front grilling cheesesteak sandwiches, so I'll be glad to say hello to you.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a great one, and thanks for the call.
All right, bye-bye, Jim.
Bye now. Guys and gals, we're going to be right back after this break. Don't go away. We've got a whole lot more coming up right after this message.
StarTron enzyme fuel treatment makes all engines run stronger, smoother, and helps them get better fuel economy. The enzymes in StarTron improve the quality of all fuels so engines start easier, even if they haven't been run for several months. Don't just stabilize your fuel, tune it with StarTron. StarTron enzyme fuel treatment can also be used in 2- and 4-stroke engines, trucks, lawnmowers, generators, motorcycles, four-wheelers, basically anything that runs on gas. You can also get StarTron diesel fuel treatment for your truck, boat, or tractor, or construction equipment. If you want to fuel more power, tune your fuel with StarTron.
It's grillin' season, and both Ace Hardware stores in Titusville have an incredible selection of outdoor grills and smokers to choose from. Titusville Ace carries the best brands like RecTech, Big Green Egg, Weber, Traeger, and a whole lot more. Plus, they have a huge selection of accessories guaranteed to ensure that you're the neighborhood's backyard grilling pro. What could be better on a weekend afternoon than cooking some hot dogs or burgers? Or how about biting into some mouth-watering chicken, brisket, or ribs that you just pulled off your new smoker? Ace in Titusville doesn't just have grills in a box. They assemble every grill and deliver it to your house for free. Nobody else does that. So why would you consider buying a grill from anywhere else other than Ace Hardware in Titusville? Ace has 2 locations to serve you, the original store on Highway US 1 and their newest location 1/4 mile east of I-95 on Garden Street. Purchase your next new grill from Ace Hardware in Titusville, have it delivered today, and be smoking on it by this afternoon and evening and enjoying the heck out of everything that you put on it. Only from Ace. Stop in and check them out today. Is your home under attack from pests or termites? Or have furry wildlife made themselves way too comfortable in your attic? At Integrity Pest Management, they specialize in getting rid of pests, termites, and wildlife safely and effectively. With years of experience and commitment to integrity, they protect your home from unwanted invaders using eco-friendly and efficient solutions. Don't wait for the damage to pile up.
Call Integrity Pest Management today for a free inspection and let them restore peace and security to your home. Call 321-637-1199 or visit them at integritypestmanagement.com. Integrity Pest Management, where your home safety and your peace of mind are their top priority. Hey guys and gals, welcome back. If you didn't catch the last segment of the show, obviously Ace in Titusville is a great place to get up there and get all the Father's Day stuff that you might need for Dad, or you could do like I did. I'm really bad about this, and my wife and my son kind of get after me, but I'm really bad about buying myself a Father's Day present or Christmas present, and I'm not I'm not gonna lie. But it's like, I don't really want a whole lot. And the things I do want are normally a little more expensive than what I feel comfortable with somebody trying to get me. So I'd rather just buy it myself. And that way I know I got exactly what I want and nobody else had to incur the cost. So if you're that kind of dad, do what I do. Go buy yourself that present that you want. As an example, I'm going to be down at All About Archery this morning, visiting with Tino down there, picking up a new Father's Day present, if you will, for myself. I got raccoon fever, and I walked in the store, and even though I've got two great bows, I found a better bow, and so I got rid of the one that I didn't like as much as the other one, and I'm getting a new one today, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to be down there picking up a new Hoyt RX-10 from Tino down at All About Archery. So it is what it is. My wife fusses at me about it, but sometimes you just can't change an old dog. Sometimes he's just going to do what he does. Hey guys and gals, this segment of the show, we're going to talk. We've got a couple things to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Starbright Cleaning Solutions product. If you guys and gals have a diesel truck, this is one thing that I want to let you know about that I just figured out. My good buddy Dave Marshall came over and was helping me. Believe this or not, I've never buffed a boat out before. Okay, as many boats, as many trucks, as many things I've had, I have never tried to buff one with a buffer before. I've always done like a hand wax or something like that. So there's a technique to it, and if you get it wrong, you can mess things up pretty quickly, especially on fiberglass or paint for that matter. So my buddy Dave came over, and he was showing me the technique of how to use a buffer, and so I'm using the Starbright cleaner wax on the boat and getting that haze off of it. Now, that's a great product, and I'm going to save that product for maybe next week to talk about after I've had a chance to use it a little more, because I'm going to be doing both boats at some point in time during this week and trying to get them completely buffed up, if you will, get that oxidation off of there. On the front of my boats, I run a Chevy 1500 diesel truck, and one of the things that I've found is that you get these little black carbon deposit spots on the tailgate of the truck. Well, guess what? You also get them down the front of your boat, because I'm towing the boat pretty much Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday I'm just driving the truck around, unhooked from the boat. So the front of the boat actually starts getting these little carbon deposits, and it feels grainy. The fiberglass doesn't feel smooth. Dave and I were, working the boat over the other day, and he noticed it first. He's like, look, he goes, run your hand down across the front of the boat. He goes, there's something wrong with the gel coat or something here. It feels like it has little dimples or little bumps on it, So he goes, let's see if it buffs out. Well, we put the cleaner wax on it and buffed it, and yeah, it came out. But later on,
I was cleaning the tailgate of the truck. And I realized that what was on the front of the boat was actually these carbon deposits that are coming out of the exhaust on the diesel motor. And so the product that we're going to talk about today is a product that is absolutely fantastic at cutting that carbon and that soot and getting it off of not only your tailgate of your truck and your rear bumper of your truck, where it kind of swirls around and kind of comes back at the truck when you're driving, but also off the front of anything that you might be towing. And it's called the Ultimate Extreme Clean. This product, I've been using it for a long time, and you've heard the commercials about it for a long time. This is a grease cutting type of a product. It's great for all those crazy, you've heard the commercial, the greasy stains, those suspicious stains that your brother-in-law seems to leave wherever he goes. It's like, what the heck is this, and how did it get on my boat? Well, if you walk across tarmac and then step on the deck of your boat, you immediately get the oil from the tarmac off the shoe sole onto the deck of the boat. And that's really hard to get off. Regular soap and water, you really have to scrub and scrub and scrub to get it to come off. You squirt a little extreme clean on it and whoosh, it's gone. Well, because it's so good at cutting the oils and tars and things like that, I found that for my diesel truck, it does a great job of cleaning the tailgate off of it. And of course, now I'm finding that it's cleaning the front of the boat as well, because they're not microscopic, but they're just these little tiny dots of black carbon that collect on the front of the boat. So if you're a guy that tows any kind of trailer with a diesel truck, check out the Ultimate Extreme Clean, because this product is safe for your paint, it's safe for your boat, and it does the job extremely well and extremely effortlessly. So it's called the Ultimate Extreme Clean. For those of you that are watching on Facebook, you can see the product here. I've got it in the 22-ounce spray bottle. It comes in a blue bottle called Ultimate Extreme Clean. You can find it at most of your hardware stores. Ace in Titusville would be a great one. I guarantee you they've got it in stock there, and most of your marine supply stores. So anyway, that's the Starbright Extreme Clean is the product of the week, and it's double duty for your boat and for your truck. So don't forget about that. A couple of other things. I want to let you know what the conditions are real quick. Fishing and boating conditions for Ponce to Sebastian, west today at 5, which is really nice. Becoming southeast this afternoon at 10 to 15. There are some scattered showers that are probably going to pop up this afternoon, so if you get out a little earlier rather than later, it may be better for you, or wait till after the showers and then get out on the water. Seas right now 1 to 2 feet with a dominant period of about 9 seconds. Now the wave chop is about 3 seconds, so it's 1 foot at 3 and then 2-ish at 9 for the swell. The Ponce buoy, that's 13 miles off of Ponce Inlet, 81 degree water temp, 2 feet at 9 seconds. The 4-mile weather buoy out of Canaveral, 81 degrees, 1 feet at 9 seconds. The 20-mile buoy is exactly the same. Well, it's actually 1 feet at 8 seconds out there, so it's a second tighter. Western edge of the Gulf Stream, 43 nautical miles due east of Ponce, 31 due east of Port Canaveral, and 24 due east of Sebastian. And the temperatures, the surf temps, 82, 82, and 83. So Ponce, Cocoa Beach are 82, Sebastian's 83. The tides at Port Canaveral, we had a high this morning. We got a low at 12:24 p.m. And you're going to notice this is a very low. The high coming up is 7:07 p.m. this evening. Sebastian Inlet is 12:56 p.m. for the low and 7:29 p.m. for the high. And the best times to get out there and fish, presented by All About Archery down in Melbourne, which I'm going to be going to here right after the show, 10:12 a.m. to 12:12 p.m. And then that's the major. And then the minor is 6:11 p.m. to 8:11 p.m. So you've got some lunchtime majors and minors this evening. Should be a good time to get out on the water or in the woods if you want to go do a little hog hunting or something this afternoon. So anyway, appreciate that. Hey, once again, you don't want to forget the CCA Star Tournament. Get your kids involved in the CCA Star Tournament. If you're not a member of CCA, become a member. They are one of the few companies or organizations out there that are actually fighting for your rights as a recreational angler. They filed a countersuit against the red snapper EFP closure. So hopefully we can get the red snapper opened up again and get some kind of a season this summer. That would be nice. More than just a day or two. We'll get an actual season, maybe a couple of weeks at least. But long story short, CCA, if you're not a member of CCA, or if you have kids, get them involved in the Star Tournament that runs until Labor Day this year. And there's also the Lots of Spots Tournament, which you can find out about on the CCA website. So go to ccaflorida.org and you can check them out there. And obviously, the Lots of Spots Tournament is a weekly giveaway. Whoever's got the most spots turned in for that week on the app gets the prize. So it's a great thing to get those prizes, and you guys and gals can have a lot of fun with the kids and potentially win $20,000 scholarships or $5,000 scholarships to go to college for your kids. So till next week, I'm Captain Jim Ross. Hopefully you enjoyed today's show. Hopefully you're going to get out there this weekend and have a fantastic weekend and do exactly what we're going to do. Get out there and catch yourselves a memory.